Breaking news in the Big Apple. Ian Rappaport reporting that Daniel Jones is going to be the quarterback in New York for a while. 4 years, 160. He's got $35 million.
4 for 160?
In incentives. And you know what? Probably gets a little bit more if he wins the Super Bowl. That means the Giants are probably going to franchise tag Saquon. Oh, it's official? Yeah. I'm getting breaking news in my ear. It's official. Saquon will be there too.
Okay.
Nick,
this is baffling, and it's just bad. We got to see the guarantees. I understand that, but $40 million a year for Daniel Jones is bad business. Here's a tweet from Warren Sharpe that's a fun one. Daniel Jones is the only quarterback in the modern passing era to play 10 or more games for 3 straight years and throw fewer touchdowns than games played every year. He's never had more touchdowns thrown than games played. Never. Including this year, his awesome year, when he played 16 games and threw for 15 touchdowns. This is why the franchise tag exists. I don't like it. I don't think it's fair. I think it's anti-player. But it's there. It's there so if a player in a contract year has an outlier season, you can be like, let me see it one more time.
Right.
And it seems like the reason they didn't do that was in part because they so badly wanted to make sure they didn't lose Saquon, which I like Saquon a lot too, but that is one of the least valuable positions in the sport, and he's got a bad injury history. They're going to regret this. Let me ask this. Does anyone think that in 3 years we're going to be like, man, Giants got a bargain with that Daniel Jones deal?
Well, look, I want to see more, like you said. Maybe he will be a really good quarterback. We know he runs the ball really well. Yeah. He did show improvement. And he threw 24 touchdowns his first year.
In the last 3 years. So I said 3 straight years.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, 3 straight years. Okay.
Yep.
But I'm with you overall. Like, why? Why not franchise him and maybe overpay Saquon for 2 years? I mean, that would still be less money than you're committing to Daniel Jones. You said it. He threw 15 touchdowns in 17 games. The only times he threw for over 300 yards
who cares?
Was
I don't care if he threw 0 touchdowns.
Really?
He went into the playoff game. He looked great. Did he not? Won a
one
playoff
game against one of the worst defenses in the league.
It is what it is. He got to the playoffs and won a playoff game.
So now he's worth.
If Trevor Lawrence does it, we literally had a parade. We literally had a parade when Trevor Lawrence did it. Daniel Jones does it, and it is what it is. People are dug in on Daniel Jones from when he was drafted. Oh, I can't believe it. You pull up all the reactions. He's from Duke.
Wilds.
Now the
he's worth
here,
$40 million over.
Yeah, because that's what he got.
Hold on a second, Wilds. Wilds, you said people dug in on him. This was where he was drafted. It's a media thing.
Yeah.
Why is he a free agent right now? Why is he up the same year as Saquon's up? They weren't drafted the same year. Why is he a free agent?
Because they didn't give him the 5-year option?
They didn't pick a 5th-year option.
Yeah.
Why didn't they do that? Because he was terrible.
Okay.
He was bad prior to this season that they were like, it's $20 million, $24 million, $22 million, something like that, for the 5th-year option. They were like, no thanks, buddy.
And guess what? They paid for it.
Yes, but you are trying to construct a narrative that the media actually knows deep down he's really good, but we're all entrenched in our bad takes.
No.
That is not what it is.
That he didn't flourish under Joe Judge, running
right.
quarterback draws from his own 1-yard line.
He didn't flourish last year. He threw 15 touchdowns.
And he could run the ball, and he had no one to throw to.
Okay.
And they won a playoff game, and he looked pretty good.
Do you
but why 4 years? Maybe he will be what you're saying. But test him one more year.
No.
This is ridiculous.
Guys.
Test him one more year.
Guys, he won't. Some of these things we just know.
You don't think he can ever be like a good quarterback?
Media training camp or something. Maybe I'm mean. Maybe I feel like everybody, like when they're not on, like I think even the biggest Daniel Jones supporters on TV, like when they're not mic'd up, they're like, man, I'm glad he's not my quarterback. Like nobody thinks he's good. Does anybody actually think like, oh, Daniel Jones, that's a Super Bowl caliber quarterback?
He's pretty good.
Nobody thinks
good.
that. We all know that.
You're saying he can never be a good quarterback.
No, what I'm saying is that Brian Daboll almost won Coach of the Year because we were all like, oh, my God, he had that guy at quarterback, and look at what they did. And now, isn't that what we said? Isn't that what we said? That we were so impressed that they were not a laughingstock with Daniel Jones at quarterback.
It wasn't just
Daniel
Daniel Jones.
You
the whole
criticized
team.
Daniel Jones because you called him the fumblingest
fumbler who ever
of all
fumbled.
time.
Yes.
And guess what? He stopped doing it.
Yes.
And Brian Daboll came, and somebody on the smart football people who may have picked the Raiders to go to the Super Bowl, but they also said, you know what? Maybe Daboll can turn him into a little bit of Josh Allen, run the ball a lot more. All of a sudden, he's running the ball.
He ran really well. He ran really well. I'm not where Nick is that he's a
good.
bum.
I didn't say.
But I'm just saying,
listen,
let's see him for one more year before we give him big money.
If I thought he was a bum, I wouldn't have been advocating the franchise tag. What I am,
You think he'll never be a good
frustrated by teams willfully doing things that kneecap themselves. And when you have the franchise tag available and you don't use it because you want to give it to a running back, so instead, you guarantee that this guy, no matter what happens next year, is going to be your quarterback for at least 2 years, and we'll see how they structure it, maybe 3. I feel badly for the football fans of the New York Giants, which are a historic franchise, that now are just stuck hoping that Daniel Jones can double his touchdown passes season over season. Because the reason he stopped turning the ball over was because they stopped letting him throw more than 4 yards downfield, and they treated him like a fullback. And now it's 4 years, 160. That's bananas. It's bananas. Sorry for yelling, but I don't even care about the Giants. It just seems
a running
crazy.
back second in the draft too. I mean, come on.
I liked it. I couldn't for him. Won a playoff game. He's pretty good. Doesn't turn the ball over. Win a lot of games. Just ran into the Eagles.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.